What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be the official Season 11 weapons tier list. Now, this is going to be more of a tier list, not really for pro players, but more for the average players like me, and probably more than likely like a lot of you guys that are watching this. People that kind of just play the game. You aren't cracked at the game, but you aren't really bad at the game. You're kind of just average or above average or somewhere around there. And to put it into like ranked terms, probably like around mid-silver up to your lower to mid-platinum players. Somewhere around there for this type of tier list. That's kind of what I'm going to put it into and kind of keep that into consideration as we do get into this. If you guys like these type of videos, let me know by leaving a like. Subscribing and sharing the video would really help me out, and I do really appreciate all the support. Let's hop right into this, and let's get right into this tier list. Here's going to be the tiers that we're going to be putting the weapons into. We got S+, S, A+, A, B, C, and F. F is your worst of the worst. A is your average, A+ above average. S is the stuff you're going to be looking for and going to be taking to your late game fights for a battle royale. Keep in mind also that this is not for arenas, not an arena weapons tier list. If it was, there would be a few major differences, but this can be mainly just for battle royale. And then you got your S plus tier, which is usually just going to be the care package weapons, the Kraber, the G7 Scout, the Alternator, and the Spitfire. All going to be an S plus tier. Just get that out of the way. They're broken. If you find them in a care package, you pick them up because they are the best weapons in the game and you never pass them up. Apart from that, let's hop right into the rest of these weapons. Let's start this out with the Havoc. The Havoc I'm going to be placing into A tier. I just don't think it's really that good this season, especially for the energy weapons. If you want an energy weapon, you're better off just picking up something else. Even with a turbocharger, that's only the thing that's really making it into the A tier. Without the turbocharger, I'd actually put it into the B tier. And your odds of finding a turbocharger right now are really, really slim. And I think even more so now with how spread out the map pool is for all the loot. Loot areas are a lot more spread out, and you're going to be running into a lot less loot unless you rotate pretty much the entire first half of the game and just go looting on a looting frenzy, or you happen to be playing Loba and you get really lucky. So I just feel like it isn't really that good right now. You're just better off picking a lot of the other energy weapons up. If you do want to use an energy weapon, just look for something else. Unless you get a turbocharger and you happen to be really good with the Havoc, don't really even bother trying it right now. It's just going to be in B tier, especially without the turbocharger. Up next, we got the Flatline. The Flatline's going right to S tier. Probably one of the best weapons in the game. If you land onto a Flatline, you're going to be taking that to late game every time. It's so good. Does a shit ton of damage. You don't really even need that many attachments. As long as you get a blue stock and you get a tier 1 or even a tier 2 mag, you'll be good. Really easy to control recoil, does a shit ton of damage. You're going to be finding heavy ammo pretty much all through the entire game, so you're going to have no troubles with ammo. Probably one of the best weapons in the game, especially if you're just your average player. Like I said, it's going to be more of an average type tier list for the weapons. Still really good. You do not want to pass it up, and if you aren't good with the Flatline, time to pick it up and start learning the gun. The Hemlock is going to A+, even with boosted loader. I think it's a really underrated weapon. Some people will disagree with me on this, but I think the Hemlock right now is really underrated. It also got buffed this current patch for Season 11. And I think it's really good as a mid-range to long-range weapon. It kind of suffers up close, but it is a really good to mid to long-range weapons, especially if you put a marksman's scope on the thing. It does really good and feels really good to play. So, and the recoil is really easy to actually manage, so you are landing a lot of your shots, and it is pretty consistent and pretty easy to use. Putting it at A+, even with the boosted loader, can't really put it higher than that, but I do think it's really underrated. And if you guys have not tried it out, go try out the Hemlock. R301's going to S tier. Nothing about it has changed since last season. It is legit probably the easiest to play gun in the game. It doesn't do as much damage as a lot of the other guns, but you're trading that off for more consistency, and that's what you want with R301. Going right to S tier. No, not really going to say much more about it. It's just still the same thing. It's still really good. You land on it, you pick it up, you're going to be bringing it to late game. We got the Prowler, which is A tier. I just feel like the Prowler kind of fallen off this season. There's just no really reason to use the Prowler over the car SMG or like a lot of the other type of weapons in the game. Kind of fallen off, especially if you're just using it as like a picking up off the ground without a heavy mag, like at least a tier 1 or a tier 2 or any type of stock. If you miss like 2 or 3 of your shots, you have to reload mid-fight, and that it usually ends up getting you killed. So A tier, I'm being generous even putting it in A tier. It's okay, but you really don't want to be bringing it to late game, and if I find something else, I usually end up dropping it, at least if that's me. The R99, which is B tier, the reason why I'm putting it so low, which probably a lot of people are going to agree with, it's not good unless you have it fully kitted, which I'm meaning at least a purple. Purple, pretty much everything, or at least at the very least, blue, everything stock, mag, barrel stabilizer, stuff like that. And it's just pretty much outclassed by the car SMG right now. There's no reason to use the R99 when you can just pick up a car SMG. Don't have to really worry about any ammo because it takes 2 types of ammo, and it's just a lot easier to play. That's kind of the problem with the R99 right now. It's just outclassed by like 1 or even 2 other weapons in the game right now. If you're really good with it, you can still pick it up and do pretty good. But right now, there's just really no reason to pick it up unless you're just dropping and that's the only thing you find off the ground. So we got the Volt, which is A+ tier. Really easy to control weapon. Really easy to use. You get a lot of value out of it. It melts people at close range. Even if you only get like a tier 1 or a tier 2 of like an energy mag and like your attachments, still really solid. The reason why I'm not going to put it higher though is because it runs through ammo really, really fast. And nobody carries energy ammo right now apart from people that are using the triple take, because none of the other energy weapons, apart from maybe an L-Star once in a while, are being run into the late game. And you'll end up running out of ammo, or you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of your loadout slots and to run like at least 200 rounds of energy ammo, which is something you really don't want to do most times just for one weapon. So it is really good if you do want to bring it to late game. Like you can pop off with it, and it does do its job really well. But the reason why I'm not putting it higher is just because you can't find ammo for it, and it just eats energy ammo for no end. So up next we got the car. The car is the newest weapon to the game. It's going right to S tier. Probably the best SMG in the game. It's crazy. Crazy good. You can have 2 types of ammo. You never have problems with ammo. The recoil is insanely easy to control, really easy to use weapon. So it's a shit ton of damage, just melts people at close range. It has really no mid to long range type of presence, but at close range is where it excels, like pretty much all the SMGs, and it just melts people. Best SMG in the game. If you find a car on the ground, you pick it up and you switch out whatever SMG you have right now. With that, apart from like the alternator or like any of the care package stuff. So that's where it kind of is. I think it's really good. Up next, we got the Devotion. I'm putting the Devotion by itself at an A tier, and with Turbocharger, I'll put it at an A+ tier. I think with Turbocharger it can be good, just because you have such a high ammo count to the point where you kind of just melt people. By the time you're even done firing one clip, the enemy team or whoever you're trying to fight usually ends up having to reload, and you can catch them off guard and usually end up getting a kill or something. And overall, just A tier. I think it's better than the Havoc. I really do. It's a lot easier to control than the Havoc, and I think it's a lot more consistent than the Havoc right now, but at least for me. Turbocharger, A+ tier. There you go. Got the L-Star up next, which actually got nerfed this season. The reason why I'm not going to put it above an A+ is because it just runs through ammo. It really does. It takes so much ammo for the L-Star. You just end up running out of ammo, and that's the problem at least I have with picking up the L-Star. It's an okay gun still. Like, I've had really good success with it even after this season with it being nerfed, but it just goes through so much ammo. I can pick up like 250 energy rounds, and I'll be almost out of ammo getting into like the second or the third circle with having to fight at least 2 teams, and you can never just find any energy ammo laying around unless you're playing like a Loba or something else that can just farm ammo. I don't know. And that's just the main problem with it. If this was an arenas tier list, I still think it's one of the best weapons in arenas, but for Battle Royale, I'm putting it at an A+. A lot of people might disagree with me, but whatever. Got the Rampage. I'm putting the Rampage at an A tier. One of the most overrated weapons in the game. It was great on release, and then people kind of started learning how to play against it, and now it's kind of fallen off. It really melts at mid-range, But apart from that, it's really bad. Even with a thermite grenade at close range, it's still not that good. You usually end up just getting bursted down by pretty much any other SMG in the game, or even melted by like an R301 or a flatline because they do much more damage than you. So even with a thermite grenade being popped into it, I just think it needs some type of buffs. I don't think it's really that good. It's pretty damn good in arenas, but like in Battle Royale, I think it's pretty awful. Unless you're playing like a Rampart or something like that to that extent. And that just takes way too much ammo as well. You have to have it pretty much fully kitted. You at least need a tier 2 of a stock, a stabilizer, and at least a heavy mag to at least do anything. Otherwise, it's really inaccurate and it doesn't really feel good to play. And it just runs through a shit ton of ammo. That's the problem with it as well. Up next, we got the G7, which is going right to the care package. Up next after that, we got the triple take, which is A+ tier. Probably the best marksman in the game right now, if I'm being completely honest. I think the best marksman rifle in the game is the G7, or the triple take, my bad. They changed it this season. I haven't been playing long enough, but it used to be energy ammo, and they used to take energy mags back in, I think, was the past seasons. At least for me, how I've been playing, like this is the first season seeing it as an energy ammo gun. Before, when I seen it before, when it was on the ground, it was actually a sniper rifle. So, but apart from that, best marksman in the game. Really consistent, does a shit ton of damage, really solid fire rate. Like, if you want an energy weapon right now, I think probably one of the only ones you're going to be picking up is probably the triple take, because it really doesn't need that much ammo, because you can still do a shit ton of work, even if you only have like a 30 stack of ammo. Doesn't really run through ammo unless you're like in a long fight, and even at that point, like, you can always drop it, and you can find at least a little bit of energy ammo once in a while. And you can have enough to make it to late game and still do really well. Probably one of the best marksmen in the game, though. Up next, we got the 330, the 3030 repeater, A+ tier. I think it's really underrated. I think it's probably on the same level as a triple take. I really do. As long as you can get your bullet drop, you can control your bullet drop, because it does have a really harsh bullet drop at longer ranges. But if you can control that, it's really good. I think they buffed it now to even with the hop of dual loader. It makes it so you don't have to sit there and reload for 10 minutes, which feels a lot better. 3030 is looking really good right now. I think it's probably the best it's ever been. Last couple seasons, since it got added to the game, it's felt like shit. I think it's probably the best it's felt in its entirety, even being in the game. So go try it out, guys. Bocek going to C tier. Bocek's garbage. The only reason you're picking this up is if you land on it after drop, and apart from that, you're going to be getting rid of it. Like, for anything else. Worst marksman in the game. Needs some major buffs, because even with it fully kitted with a dead eyes, with a shatter caps, and even with like a marksman scope, like, it's still really bad. There's just no reason to pick it over any other marksman rifle in the game, or even like half the other weapons in the game right now. It's just not good. Needs some major buffs, or like some huge quality of life changes or something. I don't know what they would even start with. Up next, we got the charge rifle going right to S tier, the most consistent sniper rifle in the game. I don't know about you guys, but every time I want a sniper, I look for a charge rifle, and that's the one I pick up. If I can't get a Kraber, I'm going right to the charge rifle. The most consistent damaging sniper in the game. Infinite range. It eats a lot of ammo, but if you can carry at least like 50 rounds of sniper ammo, you should be good for the majority of the match. It just does a shit ton of damage, has really consistent damage numbers, and the overall thing that makes the charge rifle really good is just the consistency. The most consistent sniper in the game, if not one of the most consistent guns in the game. Probably the best sniper in the game, apart from the Kraber, if I'm being completely honest. If you find a charge rifle, you're going to pick it up. At least for me, that's how it is. Up next, we got the Sentinel, which actually A+. If you can't find a charge rifle or a Kraber, I think the next best thing is the Sentinel, because with how much damage it does right now when you charge it up with 2 shield cells, it's crazy. It's absolutely fucking crazy how much damage you do. You have a little bit slower of a fire rate, but if you can land your shots, you're doing a shit ton of damage. Really underrated right now, I really do think it is. Especially when it's fully charged with the 2 shield cells. You're doing a shit ton of damage. Especially if you're like in your first 5, maybe 5 to 8, 10 minutes in the game. when people sell blue rounds, blue shields, gray shields, like you're pretty much leading people with a fully charged shot. Next, we got the longbow, which actually got nerfed this patch. You can no longer 3-shot people with a blue shield, which sucks. I'm putting it at A tier. Probably the third sniper rifle in the game. If I can't get a Sentinel, a Kraber, or a charge rifle, I'll pick up a longbow. Still really good. If you're good with the longbow, you can still do really good with it, but I think it's kind of average now after the nerf. Up next, we got the Eve 8, which actually got a hidden nerf. They actually put out another patch yesterday. They actually reduced the pellet damage. I think it was 7 damage per pellet now. They actually reduced that down to 6. On top of the fire rate nerf, they actually gave it for Season 11, which a lot of people actually do not know. I'm putting the Eve 8 at an A tier. I think it's just average right now. There's nothing special about it. If you can find one, like, it's still good. It's not bad by any means. But I think it's no longer the best shotgun in the game, if I'm being completely honest. Next, we got the Mastiff. Mastiff's going to S tier. Best shotgun in the game. Every time I find a Mastiff on the ground, I drop what I have and I pick up a Mastiff, especially with dual loader. Being able to double load your gun when you're trying to reload, it helps it so much. The one drawback to the Mastiff was the super long reload, and having the hop up, it just really helps that gun out. It's so good. So good right now. If you know how to use the Mastiff, you're pretty much going to be winning a lot of your games. You're going to either be doing a shit ton of damage and winning a lot of your 1v1s. It's really good right now. Probably the best the Mastiff's been in, I don't know, at least 3 seasons. Or at least as long as I've been playing the game, since Season 8. So, Mozambique going to A+ tier. Probably like the third best shotgun in the game. Really underrated. It really is. If you can land your shots, it has an insanely good fire rate. Really good damage. If you can land all your shots, like, you can pretty much delete people, because I think it's the fastest firing shotgun in the game. I think right now, after the Eve 8 nerfs, you pair that with like a purple shotgun bolt and you're doing a shit ton of damage, and it's crazy. Really underrated right now. Like it's not even a meme pick anymore. A lot of people shit on the Mozambique because it's a meme pick, but I would actually even take it to late game if I had the option, if I couldn't find anything else. Peacekeepers going down to B tier. It's just not good. The reason why I'm not putting it higher is because every time I use the Peacekeeper, the fire rate's too slow. The reload takes forever. By the time you end up reloading the gun, you usually end up getting yourself killed. And at least for me, like, when I try using it, like, I'll land a direct shot and I'll only do like 10 damage. And then I'll get fucking bursted down in 2 seconds by whoever I'm trying to kill. It's not really consistent enough to the point where I would actually pick it up. I'd pick up any other shotgun in the game over the Peacekeeper just because I do better with them and they're more consistent. I'd rather have confirmable damage that I know I'm going to at least be doing damage and I can at least try to win a 1v1 than picking up a Peacekeeper just because I think it does a lot of damage and then trying to shoot it at somebody and it only doing 11 damage and then it getting me killed. So, E tier needs some major buffs. It's probably the worst shotgun in the game. If you're good with it, you can still destroy with it. If you land off drop or something, you land right on top of it and pick it up. It still can be good as like an early game weapon, but you're not going to be picking it up over a lot of the other shotguns unless you're like an absolute pro player sweat. Up next, we got the RE45 going to B tier. Really good early game weapon, but after the first 5 to 8 minutes, and you find anything else, you're going to be getting rid of it. It's an early game gun, and that's all it is. That's all it's going to be. I think it's a lot better in arenas than it actually is in Battle Royale, but that's just me. Next, we got the Wingman, which is actually going to A tier. Now, a lot of people are going to shit on this as well. This is an average tier list, guys. This is just for average players. Not pro players, not your cracked players that just pretty much steamroll and carry a game and drop like a 20 to 25 kill game every time. This is for your average player. If you're an average player and you're like me, like, I'm really good with the Wingman at close range, but my mid to long range with the Wingman, like, I land maybe 1 or 2 shots out of every single clip I have with the Wingman. Like, I don't know, even with the hop up, I'm putting it in A tier. Probably one of the only guns in the game that you can't really rely on the gun. It comes down to purely player skill to make it good or bad. If you're shit with the weapon, don't pick it up. If you're at least decent with it, you can maybe make it work at close range, because it is really good at close range, and just use it as your close range weapon. I don't know. Like it just comes down to skill. If you're good with it, pick it up. If you're not, leave it alone. That's kind of what it comes down to. I can only put it at A tier. I can't put it any higher because it's completely dependent on player skill. Then the last weapon of the list, we got the P2020, which is going to F tier. If you pick up the P2020, you're better off just leaving it on the ground and trying to 1v1 people and just melee the shit out of them. I think you'll have a better time meleeing somebody to death than using a P2020 with how bad it is right now. It's awful. Worst gun in the game. If you find a P2020 on the ground, you get rid of it instantly for any other weapon on this list. Worst weapon in the game. Garbage. Even I wouldn't even pick it up. Like half the time I see a P2020, I'm like, maybe I can just melee somebody to death. I'll rather take that chance. So like that's at least me half the time as well with how bad it is. I don't know. And there you go, guys. You have the list. There's the list. Keep in mind this is 100% opinionated. So if you guys do not agree with me on anything, let me know in the comments down below. Don't go bashing me. Like I said, this is pretty much my list. You guys can have your own opinions and your own list. Let me know in the comments down below. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. There you go. If you guys did enjoy this type of video and you guys want more of these in the future, I will probably be doing a Legends tier list here within the next week or two. Got some videos on the back burner, so it probably won't be for like at least another week or two. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how this video does. If this video does good, I'll drop the Legends tier list a lot faster. So if this video does well and you guys want to see that video, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Really would help me out. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out, and hopefully you guys do good in your next couple of games. Good luck, and I hope to see you guys in some of my matches. Peace out.